$764, not bad. I think I might be able to hit 800 on my own at this rate. On my own as in giant bubble quotes, because the Korok mask is really the one that's finding a lot of them for me. I'm not gonna try and deny that one, but you know. Alright, so am I like canyoning now, or... maybe I should finish up this stuff kind of west of the canyon. Or maybe I should just go to a completely different region and mix things up a little bit. Like, there's a lot of stuff around here that I haven't really cleared yet. Like, actually quite a bit. Really? And there's also something to staying here where my doohickey is, but... I'm just gonna trust that I did a good enough job here. This looks horrible, but... it's kinda because it is horrible. God. So many Koroks. I don't really want to do any ice regions. That's kind of the kicker here. And like every single one of these places I'm looking at is basically an ice region. How have I not taken like the western exit from CAC? Like at all. Really. That's pretty weird. Kind of impressive. It's raining, it's pouring, the old man is snoring. He grabbed a metal weapon, got struck by lightning, and never woke up in the morning. That's how it goes, right? That's the version I know anyway. Even my exploration of like these mountains has been pretty not thorough. It looks like I might have done that before I had the mask, perhaps. Hard to say, but I guess I'm gonna like super zigzag up and down this slope or something for now. Do I have any speedy food? I have a few. Not really gonna cover this whole region, but it'll do for a bit. I get the feeling that there's like some horseback dudes here that are gonna try and attack me or something. I don't remember there being such a threat. Game is saving, so that usually indicates that there's something scary nearby. Not sure what it's gonna be, but I know there's like a guardian stalker somewhere around here, actually, but I'm not sure if that's the relevant thing that I need to be fearing right now. Oh, my sword is lighting up. Well, that's a pretty telltale sign. I found him. I can't lock on. Ugh. It's like too low. You think you're so cool? Your laser beams. Normally I would like go at you with a heckin' shield bash, but you know what? Today I feel like smacking you with a sword. Yo, what's up? Wait, it's still lit up. Really? That's weird. Now it's stopped. When your horse just disappears in front of your face and appears in front of your face. I've been down there? I have. Okay, that's good. Ah, there's the guys I was afraid of. What bow do I have equipped? I think I set everything back to something reasonable before I stopped yesterday. Oh god. Ow. Ah, shoot. This guy's gonna be a pain. He's like... Ugh, shoot. It's kinda like on my butt right now. Oh no, he's in front of me now. You... just get... Oh, there's another one of these guys. Oh my goodness. There was another one after all. Oh, that's bad. Sure. Guess I'm technically like kind of near Hyrule Field now, so that's probably what's going on here. Maybe I'll just get on my horse after all. These are pretty straight shots, so I think I can trust it to do a decent job for me. Maybe. I'm a little farther out from where I thought I was before. It's another one. Wait, did I not kill him? I guess I didn't kill him. I wonder if he's still damaged. I doubt it, but... Oh. Oh. Ah, there's more. Ugh. Stop! You're hitting my horse, dude. Ugh. This is not great. It's really not great. I feel like my horse is taking more damage than I am, and that actually worries me because I don't want my horse to die. That would be bad. Very likely bad. Ugh. Kinda wish I didn't knock this guy like 6 feet down the slope. He ran into my horse, but I think that, you know, whenever you run over someone with a horse, it damages them, so if he runs over my horse, it probably damages it. They like damaged each other, I guess. I don't know. Maybe not, but... Definitely got hit by like a handful of arrows, and that was not great. But he seems to be okay for now. Thought for a moment I was not making it around that mountain like that, but looks like we're fine. I guess I should climb up on the other end, because I never really seem to have done that before. It's like I've been to the top of this, but I don't know, there's probably nothing here. It's raining, so it sucks. Hey, what's up? Just random goat hanging out over there. Man, this slope is big. I guess I'll just keep zigzagging back and forth instead of jumping down. Alright.
Hey.
Hey, what's up?
You Korok hunting?
Sahar Shahalala hunting.
I don't understand.
It's Sahasra slope that I'm on right now.
I said
This little place seems suspicious, but it seems like there's probably no Koroks here, because the mask isn't going off. Alright, good night, thanks for stopping in.
Guess again, nerd. I've been like, I don't know, recently for some reason in the mood to try to play through Star Fox of all games.
Like the original?
Yeah, SNES.
Wait, it's on the SNES? I thought the original game was on the NES, but don't take anything I have to say to heart, because I don't know jack about that series.
No, it's SNES. Sorry.
Okay. That means it's good, right?
I mean, it is good. I played. I mean, as I said, I used to play it back in the day. I never
Oh.
beat it though.
Huh.
There's like the N64 version. There's like
Well,
3
okay,
routes.
that doesn't really tell me anything, but go on.
Yeah, but there's 3 routes. So there's like an easy, medium, and hard route
Like, in each stage, or just the game?
in the game. Like you
Okay.
choose the route to start,
I got it.
and you like play through a series of levels based on the route.
Is there, like, overlap between the stages that exist in the different difficulties, or is it just completely different?
I don't know about 64 and the SNES version, not really. However, there's a like secret path, like a secret exit in a couple of the stages. One of which leads to like a joke ending thing. It's like a joke stage with a joke ending. The other one changes from the easy route to the medium route, skipping a whole bunch of levels. So like I guess technically if you want to do the medium route, that's like the easiest way to do it.
If you want to get the medium end, do you mean?
Yeah, well, you like to play the later game stages or whatever. But you have to be like aware of this like secret exit or whatever.
Right.
I don't really know enough about the 64 version to play, but Anyways, back in the day, I've definitely been the medium and the easy roads, but I don't think I ever beat the hard route.
I see.
I tried to play a bit on the Switch.
Ah,
Switch.
yeah. The controls just too suck.
Well, it was they're not terrible. The main problem is just, like, I don't know. It's like a tiny screen. I don't know.
What? The handheld or just?
Yeah, handheld. It doesn't like fill the whole screen because I think they're trying to scale like.
Yeah.
They weren't doing any. They're basically only doing integer scaling, I believe, is like why it's like the way it is. So it's like not the full height. It's like 75% of the full height or whatever. So the screen's like.
Isn't
pretty
there an
small.
option for that?
I looked. I didn't see one. There's 3 options. There's like
Right.
3 modes.
Yeah.
But they aren't that. You can
Okay.
either do 4x3 or was it 7x6 or whatever the heck it is. I always forget the aspect. Because the SNES isn't actually 4:3.
Right.
This is like an age-old debate because people's monitors are 4:3, so or the people's TVs are 4:3, all of them. So the problem is that like, well, the SNES doesn't actually have like its video canvas isn't 4:3. It's something more square, and if you just design all your artwork without taking into account that it's going to be stretched to 4:3 on the actual TV,
Everything looks
Then, like,
wonky.
everything looks a little stretched. But if you do take into account,
And
then
then
like
you
you
view it actual.
intentionally like unsquish them in your artwork so that when they get stretched, they're like normal. And this is one of those age-old debates of like, should it be 4:3 or 6.76 or whatever it's supposed to be. And some people argue it depends on the game because some games they look better in one aspect versus the other, and so on and so forth. Some games are just like totally out there, like Chrono Trigger, that has parts of the game look better in 60
Sure.
4:3 and some parts look worse in 4:3. It's like clearly like just certain art assets they were modeling one way and certain art assets they weren't. So it's like,
Screwed if you do, screwed if you don't.
yeah, a bit. But some people, I mean, we can come on about GDQ, but my general opinion is that I prefer 4:3 because that's how people actually play games. Right. The only time you really ever see the other aspect ratio is if you're playing on emulator. 'Cause emulator, I mean, you can turn it on, but emulators like frequently by default don't stretch to 4:3. They show like just the
Raw canvas or whatever.
The term is called square pixels. Right. So
Sure.
Pixels
Yeah.
take the same amount of space vertically and horizontally. But yeah, in reality, that's not how they're like normally rendered on an actual TV. So it's like not how people are used to playing the game. It's not how people are used to seeing the game. I don't know. From a streaming perspective, it's. I mean, again, same arguments can be made, but one nice thing about using this more square resolution is that, in theory, you have more sidebar space for like,
Sure.
informational content. If you really cared about that. Anyways, it has those 2 options for that long old debate.
Oh.
No context. There's no context on like why you do one or the other. But it's there for the for the people who really care. And the third option I have is they have a thing called the CRT filter,
Yeah, don't use that one.
which just adds scan line
And it looks terrible,
garbage.
yeah.
It just makes it look worse. I still don't understand scan lines.
Some people think they're cool. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it's supposed to make it look more like it looks like on a CRT is the idea. The problem is that 1, no, and 2, your CRT must have sucked, and 3, why would you intentionally make it look worse?
Yeah, dude.
I don't know. It's weird. There's certain. It's rough because there's a lot of like certain artifacts that happen on CRTs that don't happen on LCDs, and it's harder to like. There's like saying like, well, was this taken into account when they actually did the artwork, and should we like emulate these things, or were those just like ugly artifacts, and we should like it just makes the game look bad by including those artifacts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, the way colors are displayed on CRTs. And this again, this will depend on the type of CRT, like whether it's a PBM or normal CRT and so on and so forth. But basically, you don't have just three. Like on an LCD, you basically have a dot, square dot-ish that can be illuminated one of three colors effectively, because the colors are so small and so close together.
Mm-hmm.
But on a CRT is not how they're displayed. CRT, there's basically a phase shift, if you can imagine that way. So you imagine there's actually like, you know, like 3 times the number of pixels, and like every like, you know, mod 0 is like, or every like mod 3 is like a different color,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so you get these color bleeding because of that, because some colors are closer to their neighboring pixel on one side and some colors are neighboring pixels on the other side. And so when you get these like color bleeding that can happen, depending on like what colors like each other. So it's a very common thing is when you have like a vertical white line, for example, there's like 1 pixel. It won't look like a 1 pixel white line very frequently. You'll have like color bleeding, like blue and red on the left and right.
Mm-hmm. So
there's stuff like that, and like some people argue like we should simulate those things, but honestly they just look terrible. Use a play on a black and white series. The funny thing about black and white, man, black and white has like a weird, well, not a weird history, but it has like an interesting history. So like, for example, I don't know how much people know about like color standards, or like just video standards, and I assume people just generally don't. But so for example, for those who are familiar, there's something called NTSC, which runs at 59.94 hertz or 29.97 hertz. Which is like, why that number, right? Why is it this like slightly less than 60 or slightly less than 30 versus PAL, which runs at exactly 25 hertz, or you can have PAL 60, which runs at exactly 60 hertz. And so the question is like, why is there this why is there this discrepancy? And the answer is actually color. It's all color's fault, because originally NTSC was a black and white standard. So the black and white frame was actually 30 FPS. It was just straight 30, because the power in North America runs at 60 hertz, and so I guess their TVs couldn't run at that frame rate at that time, so they ran everything at half that. They ran at 30 FPS, which is like a very normal thing. But when they introduced color, they were like, well, we want to be able to, for the sake of backwards compatibility, we want to create a video standard that is backwards compatible with black and white TVs. So the idea is that like any like NTSC signal basically has this like black and white image, and then there's like this extra color bar that can be like added if your TV supports it, and your TV doesn't support the color part, it'll still just run this video black and white, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like the problem is that they couldn't fit the full frame like pixel data plus the color data in 30 FPS still. That's like you're adding more data in the same amount of time, so they had to reduce the frame rate very slightly in order to fit that extra color data in. In some ways, it's actually always been kind of amazing to me that they've had to make such a small reduction.
Yeah.
But part of it, I think, is because the actual color data is much more compressed than the rest of the data is. I think part of it. But it is that is why that weird frame rate and that standard stuck, even though you don't really have black and white TVs. And PAL didn't really get this stuff because their all their TV protocols are basically developed later than it was in the US. And so when they actually developed standards, the color TVs were kind of like already a thing. And so they kind of just had color in mind. And so they started with a standard that could handle like a normal integer frame rate and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of true. There's some complexity. The other part is because you can actually look it up if you're really interested, but basically the way PAL really handles it is that in order to fit the same amount of information, you either reduce the frame rate or you can reduce the resolution, right? Essentially. And in the PAL standard, they essentially reduce the resolution in order to have the higher frame rate. Anyways, weird frame rates. But yeah, black and white is interesting because you can just like take a composite signal and just even today still use it like on a black and white TV. That's why you can take a composite if you have a component TV, you can generally plug a composite line into the green line, and you'll still get a video signal through, even though you're literally only sending a third of the information that's expecting because of just how the standards are very like backwards compatible with the previous standards.
Hey.
Anyway, Star Fox was a crazy game for its time because it used a Super FX chip, and there are not many games that use a Super FX chip.
How super were the FX?
Well, I mean, in many ways, a Super FX chip is just another coprocessor.
Gotcha.
So the way it works is that they stick another processor on the cart.
Mm-hmm.
And so the cart can do some like processing and do some kind of calculation and then feed that wherever they want to do it. In Star Fox, they use it to do vector math calculation, and so they use it to because that game doesn't use a tile engine like the normal stuff. It basically has to
Basically 3D.
generate the tiles like on the fly using like vector math and so on and so forth. Then it's a 3D game. It's like the only 3D game of its time, right? Well, on consoles. And it was pretty, it's very spectacular. Though when I was playing it recently, I was like, man, this has got some real bad frame rate. Not too shocking, but it's pretty bad, and it lags pretty hard at times. Although I wasn't sure. I don't remember it being quite that bad, but I haven't played on SNES in a very long time, so I wasn't sure if it's just the Switch emulator or something. I don't know. But there's other games that have had a few other uses. And one of the main other uses is that Yoshi's Island is another famous one, and the way it used it was that it can do sprite rotations. So basically, the idea is you can take some sprite data, and you can give it like a rotation amount, and it'll generate some new pixel data with that sprite rotated, and then pass that into the PPU. So like everything still has a run on the PPU eventually. It just it's just about like basically generating the tile data to pass the PPU, and it's doing like all the heavy lifting. So you can have like some pretty cool effects if you use the chip. People have talked about using it for Super Metroid hacking because the idea was that you could offload a lot of the enemy processing code, just basically offloading some of the code onto the Super FX chip. Sometimes it's known that the chip is also called the SA1 chip, but you can offload onto that chip, and so that way the game could handle like more enemies and lag less and so on and so forth. honestly, most of these kind of things uses the Super FX chip, and there aren't many, are kind of like, that's cool, but not like super like this was like what made the game. Star Fox is really the only game like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's like that the game like could not have existed without the Super FX chip. It's like I
Ah,
say
shoot.
extra.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Anyways, I don't really have much faith in my ability to actually complete the game on the hardest routes.
Just use save states, dude. They're built into the system.
Well, I've beaten it with save states before,
Ah.
like way back in the day. So I know like what happens, but that's like not my goal. I actually would like to be able to beat it legit.
Meh.
It's
Which is for
it's a,
scrubs, dude.
it's a hard game,
Mm-hmm.
but I played through the easy route just like on my Switch, just to kind of see what it was like
Mm-hmm.
on the Switch, and I was like, the easy route was like a joke. I was actually kind of surprised how easy it was. Like, I don't remember it being that hard. So that was like slightly promising that maybe I might actually have the ability to do the hard route, but I don't know. I think I'm just a false sense of security.
Sorry, I'm eating some melted ice cream over here. Didn't realize it was gonna melt so fast. So I haven't really been eating it since I started streaming, and now it's like all just melt. That's all over my face. So that's cool. This is not freezing cold. Sorry. I don't think I'm gonna find anything in this like patch of ground that I haven't explored, but I might as well finish it off on here. I found a single Korok today. It's a little disappointing. Covered a decent amount of ground. Oh my goodness. Have I been across here? Not really. I've been into the swamp, but I haven't really explored it per se. Yeah, this like whole half of Hyrule Field is actually all of Hyrule Field is just like kind of not. I don't really know how much I expect to be in like the middle of the field, because like that's where you fight Ganon or whatever, but
Yeah, but that'll be a different map.
I don't think it is, actually. I'm pretty sure there's like a whole thing where you can leave the Ganon fight and like the world is in a really weird state, but like it's still there, you know? Like Day Zero Majora's Mask type shenanigans. Or whatever that is. You leave during, you know, first cycle. Yeah, I guess first cycle is more apt than Day Zero. I don't even know what Day Zero would mean, but whatever.
Day negative 100. Or year 100, I should say. I guess that's how long you were asleep.
In this game.
So what is the explanation for Zelda, like, supposedly being alive or whatever? Like, how is this, like, even possibly explained?
Because she has the power of a goddess. Can do
So she's
literally
just
anything,
immortal.
dude. Yeah, I mean, probably.
Literally immortal, okay.
I mean, so are you, kind of.
No, you're not.
Kinda.
How are you immortal?
Because you didn't die.
Well, you didn't die, you were in cryo.
Yeah, well, she cryoed herself. She's got that power. I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Like, why not?
The correct answer is magic, but still.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's also not really cryo, it's magic, so you know.
Just gonna ignore that fight over there.
Yep. They look like they were winning. They'll be fine. Like I said, I don't really expect anything to be around here, so I'm just gonna do a course. Did not know that this bunny could spawn here, though. That's interesting. This is probably good enough. Well, I made it to a stable. I guess that's something. I'll be right back. I'm gonna finish this ice cream off and I can wash my face. returned, now with less ice cream. I guess this region isn't like great. It's not terrible. But it's like I kind of did it without the Korok mask or something, I don't know. But I think this was the area I wanted to go to next, so I'm gonna do that. $764. That's 36 more, and then I have 800, which is a nice round number that would make me feel accomplished. I wonder if I've been back and forth in this area since getting the mask also. It's like some of these places I've clearly gone to, I just wasn't like quite as color the map green heavy, I guess. Oh, really too steep. Horse! Why is it back in here? Where the heck I've been? Wait, do I really not have this Korok? Oh no, there he is. I couldn't remember if they like kind of spawned on top of the place that you threw the rocks from, or if they were like down in the pond. Sometimes it feels like it could go either way. The game is not the most consistent when it comes to that kind of thing. Holy smokes. It's like, surely that guy can't spit the rock high enough to like actually aim at me, and then he does it. It's like, holy smokes. Powerful. Dude, I'm trying to turn here. This horse has like low turning stat. Even though I'm sure
I don't
that's
know
not a
if
stat
that's
that
a stat.
exists, but it's true nonetheless. It's kind of like Saki has a high luck stat. In 100% Orange Juice, that is. Because I don't think that was clear. Could have been talking about Saki from Saki.
I thought you were talking about Saki from Saki.
Yeah, that's why I clarified. Because she, well, I don't know if she has a high luck stat. It's less luck and more just straight god powers. Like, I don't know, every single one of the characters in that show is, like, basically able to, like, it's not luck. What they're doing is they see the previous, like, board state or whatever, and then whenever the, like, tiles go down into the table to, like, shuffle them or whatever, they know exactly how the physical mechanics of the shuffling is going to work, and they can predict the outcome of it. They're just that good. And they only pretend to know so much to make it seem like they have specific powers, but actually they could just predict the whole game if they wanted to. Pretty sure that's how it works. Saki, explained.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of magic involved.
Well, yes, but one of the girls is like literally like a demon or something. I'm pretty
Demon.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the girls is a demon. One of the girls doesn't know how to play the game, yet she gets incredibly lucky every time. He's drawn these really valuable hands.
Girl who the less likely the thing that she plays into is to happen, the more likely it is to happen for her or whatever.
Or the girl when she like is able to call like north and west or something like that, then she instantly wins. I don't remember exactly what it was. I don't know, they all have their like gimmick or whatever.
Yeah. And most of them only make sense if you actually understand the rules of the game, which I don't, so you know, cool.
No, they don't make any sense.
Good. I didn't miss out then. Apparently the manga almost has enough material for another season.
Really?
I say
Is the
almost.
season like a quarter of the like remaining time? Because it's like I feel like at this point every season's gonna progress half as much of the distance of the previous season.
Well, exactly. But the manga's
So-
also that slow.
Eventually, when we have an infinite number of seasons, we'll actually finish the tournament.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they made it to like semifinals or something in the manga. You'd have to ask Cosling.
It's pretty infamously bad. Oz was never really that much of a fan of that series.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I remember enjoying it, but I also binged it, so I can't like say that it, you know, was like
No,
something
I
that I hold
binged
dear to
it
my heart or
too.
whatever.
I don't know. Whatever. I mean, like the main other like anime is gonna be like Akagi or whatever.
Yeah, well, that one I actually couldn't follow because I didn't understand the rules of the game.
Yeah, that is.
I got
that one's
about
pretty.
15 or 16 episodes into that one before I was finally like, I just can't understand what's happening anymore.
Yeah, they don't really explain what's happening at all.
Well, and I
my
feel
co-
like, honestly, even if you knew the rules, I'm pretty sure that anime would still be pretty confusing because it's just so high level, like mind games or whatever.
It's mostly high level mind games.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of like, oh, I know you think I'm gonna do this thing, so I'm gonna do the exact opposite. But now that you know that I'm telling you that I'm doing the exact opposite, now you don't. You're gonna question what you do. And did I actually do the thing that I said I was gonna do? Right? It's all, yeah. It's all mind games and you know showing ludicrous levels of confidence. The two big things I didn't like about Akagi was, one was that he got way too good in literally no time.
Literally, like
he,
his very first game, he was already like
yeah,
actually a god.
he doesn't even know the rules of the game yet, and
He
he's like
watches
already
like
a
2
god.
games and he's already amazing. Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's not possible.
I mean, he's just a super genius, dude.
Yeah, but there are literally not enough things have happened in the game to even like know all the rules. And that does like kind of sort of come up, like he like tries to do a thing and then they're like, you can't do that.
Yeah,
It's like,
he does, but he also does it knowing that he didn't like that they know that he didn't know it, so that like
yeah, so which means that he did know, which is
Yeah.
like what the like it's clearly he knew the rules going into it, right? He was just kind of like playing them all the whole time.
Yeah.
That was kind of like my takeaway. But I don't know, it just got a little too like over the top. I don't know.
Mhm.
When I got to the part, apparently the story was really slowing down.
Hmm.
Like, same as Saki. I got to the part where they like he does the whole like, you know, they like bet with their life or whatever. Well, I guess the whole thing's supposed to be like that. When they start like doing their whole like blood thing, and I'm just like,
don't think
I
I've
don't
gone that
know,
far.
this is a little too much for me, and so I just kind of called it.
I mean, he was already betting, you know, like billions, whatever, like his first game. And it's like he
Yeah.
wins and he's like, all right, double or nothing. Every time. It's like.
Well, I think like part of it is supposed to be that like he's like not even like in it for the money.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is like kind of what's the anime called? Like Akagakure or whatever. I don't remember what it's called.
Try again?
I need to look it up.
Okay. Kakigurui?
Yeah, Kakigurui. That's it.
I haven't seen that
Where
one.
they're just like
Yeah.
they don't care about the bet at all. They don't care about like the what they're gonna win. They just care about the bet.
Care about the thrill.
Yeah. I did not like that anime.
It doesn't interest me, really.
I watched through it just because
Did you watch both seasons?
I believe so. Yeah, it kind of like goes from like, okay, it's like I was like at first I was gonna be kind of like Akagi, where it was just like, you know, these like gamblers basically like super mind gaming their opponent in hilarious ways. There's like, and you don't even know if like, you know how it's like gonna like turn out, but you know they're gonna win obviously because they're like ridiculous. Nah, the animes don't really play out that way. They're literally just trying to get off on like taking huge risks.
Yeah.
And it's like this weird soft porn, and it's just like I don't like that's not why I watched like Akagi. Like it's not
Yeah, well.
and even without like the soft porn element, it's not like about like them trying to mind game each other. It's just like they're just these thrill seekers and they just get really stupid lucky every freaking time. Cause you never like see anyone and any of the thrill seekers like actually like take a massive bet and like lose.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it's kind of like not exactly sending the right message for people, to be honest.
Yeah, well, that's not the point, but yeah.
I know that's not the point, but that's what it's definitely doing. You know, kind of goes back to there's art, but be careful about what your message implies, right? People
Well,
will
no, I
use-
don't think that it's trying to be that either, but
I mean, yeah, you think it's like literally just trying to make money off a show? There's
Oh.
like no art involved.
probably. I don't know. I mean, it's
Fair.
kind of
but-
like I feel like something that goes into these kinds of things is often like people who do like, you know, gamble or whatever, like seeing these kinds of like crazy risk takes like pay off or whatever, even if it's like, you know, fiction or whatever. You're
Yeah,
kind of
but,
just
like,
like
it's-
selling into that.
Yeah, but it kind of glorifies the idea of doing those things, and like to the point where it's like you see someone take a huge risk, and like the whole show is about like there's no point of gambling unless you're risking everything, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna encourage people to do exactly that thing,
Yeah.
right?
And
Um,
yeah, I don't think that they cared that that was what they had to say, because they probably are, you know,
It's actually kind of extra ironic because it's Japan, who like has
Yeah.
like strict like anti-gambling laws.
Yeah. Just
But,
gotta
that's
roll the
that's what
gacha
makes
over
it
and
more.
over again, dude. Gotta get
Yeah,
those 2D
well,
waifus.
but
You didn't
the
spend
fact that it's illegal
$10,000
makes
for an
it.
anime PNG. Like, what are you doing?
But yeah, the fact that it's illegal makes it all that much more thrilling, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I really do
More
think
at
it's
risk.
just like pure like entertainment, like power fantasy, like kind of like the message
Yeah,
was not important to them at all. You know.
I don't know. I guess I just think it's not.
I mean,
I
don't
don't
show
know.
it to your kids. Like
The,
that's.
I
Yeah.
don't think it's about showing to your kids. I think it's just like it. I think it like a show like that actually has like a negative impact on like people.
Sure, I don't disagree, and there's lots of
And
shows like that.
yeah,
I'm not defending the show. I'm just saying, you know, like I don't think that.
I'm just saying the show is very popular. Like,
Yeah.
but and yeah, there are like a lot of other like shows like that, anime and not, that do that kind of stuff, and
Yeah. What's
always makes me uncomfortable that like those exist. But I also don't think that we should like I don't think we should have any kind of like rule or agency, or whether it's public or private, like basically
policing
enforcing
that?
it so that
Yeah.
people can't do that kind of stuff. But at the same time, there's a bit of like, sure, but like as like an individual, you shouldn't really be producing that kind of content, right?
Mm-hmm. You're talking about Kakigurui, kind of.
Yeah, and related things where shows that kind of encourage unhealthy behaviors.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't
I
know.
need
I see it as just as much of a problem as like anime, where like you know various people just like go around killing people. It's like kind of just as bad, but that's like a lot
Yeah,
more prevalent, you know.
yeah, especially in. I mean, that's not anime exclusive. I mean,
Yeah,
anime's got
absolutely.
plenty of like
Yeah.
things where it's like, they glorify things like incest and the like, and like teacher-student relations and other kind of like awkward things like that. And sometimes I'm not really sure if the anime is reflecting society or the other way around. I can't really tell
Life
you.
imitates
But
art, limitates life. I cannot say the words
yeah.
I'm trying to say, but whatever.
You don't think encourage anything that happens and you draw a big line of fiction? I mean, I I do think that many people make that separation, but I don't think I don't think it's a small percentage of people that don't, you know? I don't know. I think that a very large portion of our life, whether we're aware of it or not, is shaped by the fiction that we see in our life. Because I think a lot of people use fiction to prepare themselves for reality. They're like don't have any way to expose themselves to it. It's clearly psychopathic. It's more than psychopathic. It's like one thing to say like, okay, here's like a person who just clearly has like lost their marbles or whatever. It's not really what happens nor how the show presents the characters. You have someone with like this like massive gambling addiction, and like the show like glorifies it. Like they're literally getting off on it, right? Video games promote. See, the thing is, I don't think video games promote violence, nor do I think that like these kind of shows are gonna cause people to like be gamblers. Well, addendum. I think there are elements in gaming that do cause people to be gamblers, but that's a separate discussion. That's a more not
that's more
about
literal than yeah.
that's a much more little game mechanical issue than a psychological one. But it's more that when you have like this prevalence of like certain ideas and those ideas are glorified and those are like, I mean, you definitely do like fuse wires. Like, I don't know. Luigi is a gateway drug. I don't even understand what that means, but I'll roll with it. You know, Luigi's like a SM64 DS.
Yeah, dude, he's second the owner of the casino. He's the dealer.
Ah, I see. I wasn't aware of that. I was like, what? He like turns invisible? Is the flower a drug? Is that what's going on here?
That's
Is that
also
the moral?
true, but I mean the mushroom's also a drug, so
The mushroom
that's
also
actually
drug.
much more literal. But yeah,
Yes. The mushroom makes you feel 10 times tall.
I just found a flint in a treasure chest under a rock.
Very worthwhile.
Yeah, I agree.
The chest was probably more valuable.
Oh, Link, get off.
But
Okay.
but yeah, I think it's more about, like I said, the point is that like people definitely use fiction in general to like I do strongly believe people use fiction to try to like logically work themselves through a situation to prepare themselves for reality, right? It's like a way for them to understand how the world works in a safe way. But like if your only exposure is like painting a very specific, you know, image, then you're gonna get that slanted bias, right? So like I don't think that like say video games cause violence or anything like that because people have enough exposure to like other kinds of things so that that's not like their only thing. But like if you have someone who like literally only plays shooter games like all the time and they like just don't interact with people ever, right? Like I don't know, I think that can hurt people. Like you need something else, right? To like, I'm not saying that like we should ban those things because they can be like used poorly. It's just like we need to encourage people to have like a broader view on some of these things, I guess. So like, I'm not like specifically, I guess, like I said, I don't think we should like ban Kakaguri or things like it or whatever because its content is like morally questionable or whatever. I'm just saying that we should like be careful how we like glorify some of these ideas because people might like use them either as a role model or they like don't look further for like more like kinds of perspectives, you know? Like especially if you're like Japanese because like when talking about Kakagurui because like a lot of people actually probably aren't really exposed to that much gambling, right? Like I certainly am not really exposed to much gambling personally. There you could have like bets with friends and whatever, but that's not really what people talk about, right? Like going to a casino and whatever, and like gambling away like large portions of your finances, right? It's just like not really a thing that I think most people really are exposed to. And like if you see people around you do those kinds of things and they like lose a lot, then you're like, I'm not gonna touch that stuff, right? But if you see people around you do those things and they like basically make a living off of it, then you're like, well, this has clearly got merit, right?
Easy money, easy life.
So like, I don't know. I'm just, I guess, really not a fan of how it gives such a like very focused like perspective on the like you know, this positivity of gambling that is just kind of like, yeah, man. Like I get like doing gambling for fun. I think that's totally reasonable, and I do agree that I think one of the big parts of gambling, the reason why people do it isn't to make money, although certainly people do that when they are in debt.
Mm-hmm.
But the main reason why people do gambling before they get into debt is because it's fun, right? There is a fun of taking risks, of like doing the unknown, of like not knowing if there's going to be, if you're going to come out on top or not, right? There is a certain like thrill that I totally understand, but like, I don't know. I think what would have made Kakagurui sit much better with me is if like, and maybe this changes in later because I don't remember if I would just watch just season 1 or if I watch both seasons. And I think there's probably more to come
It's just
because the
true,
show is
but yeah.
popular. I like want to see his characters make big risks and like get totally like failed by it, right? Like totally lose, and then just like, well, I guess I can't gamble anymore. That's the end of that life, right? Or like the whole rest of the show is just like, yeah, and then I was in debt for the whole time and I like couldn't come back, right? Like, I think one thing that one way to kind of design that show is, yeah, I mean that show's got like weird kind of like these weird like, you know, fetish stuff. But the thing is that like, which is like weird to be on like, you know, TV, but I guess it's anime. But like, I think something that would have like I think a way to do Kakagurui that I would have liked is if it didn't follow a protagonist, right? Like they had a school of people that are all about gambling. They have a school of gamblers. If like, you know, it did have
You
the
feel for
individual
both the
episodes,
winner and
but
the
like,
loser.
yeah, you just follow whoever's like the winner, right? And they play, they may win for a while. You don't know how long or how many times they're gonna win, but eventually they lose. They always lose eventually, and then like they're like out of the school or whatever, and you follow someone else, right? That's like that would have been a lot more interesting to me, and also like, it would have been it's a much more sustainable model for a show because you don't get stuck with like a particular character. You know, they kind of can like mix things up a lot. I don't know, when you like follow one character in a show like that, you're like, especially when you run it more than one season, you're gonna like have like typical shonen escalation issues where it's like, well, you have to find a higher high than you did before. Like, how are you gonna do that?
Bet even more, dude. Life wasn't enough to bet. And then there's no game, no life where they can like literally bet things that don't even make sense because it's like magic.
I
bet my current, present, and past like existence on this like duel or whatever. Literally, it did that at some point. Yeah, that was like a thing. It literally ceases to exist for one of the arcs because of like a thing that he bets.
To be fair, what they do there are not what I would consider a gamble.
Yeah, well, they're just like super smart or whatever.
Well, the reason is because most of those cases, they're legally the term is a competition,
Sure.
not a gamble.
Yeah.
Because the winner's determined by skill.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, usually.
Yeah, usually.
unless your competition is literally a gamble, which they do. So it's yeah.
Yeah. But like in general, like the point is that you're betting your stakes in that case is you're putting your stakes of what you are willing to lose
Right.
to argue that you're better than them, right?
Yeah.
It's like a very different mentality, and
Yeah.
I think that's like perfectly healthy. I think that kind of competition is well, I shouldn't say perfectly healthy. It's much more healthy, right? Because it's not like just. You're not risking more for the sake of risking more. You're risking more because you think you're that much better than the other person.
Right.
Something you see in sports anime, you'll have a loser arc. Yeah, but again, that's also like different because like in sports anime, every sports anime follows the exact same kind of like story, and there's usually like some like loser kid who's like bad at this sport or bad at something unrelated, and he trains his whole life and he gets like works really really freaking hard, and he's like some no name or she, I guess, most sports animes are guys though, but they like, and then they find some adversary who just kicks their ass, and then they're like, no, I lost, and then should I even be in this sport? What is even life? And then they like get some motivational speech and kick their and like work their butt off again, and they beat the bad guy and they become best friends. Like literally every sports anime.
Literally Naruto. Anyway.
Literally Naruto.
I mean, it's like, the super common theme of hard work versus talent, right? And that's like super every sports anime.
Yeah, because it's all about growth, right? And it's like about like establishing a character who has like a certain like level of strength, then introducing another character who's got more strength than they do, and then like having a period which gives them like a period where you can show them getting better, and then when they compete again, there's like a tangible like event of like the realization that like, look, this is how much better I was from where I was started. Like those animes are all about showing a growth, so you have to show that loss to show like where you started to where they ended up, right?
Yeah.
That kind of holds true when you hear about gambling. The problem is gambling, there's no growth. You can't like get like better at gambling.
You can have more money.
You can have more money. Some forms of gambling will start kind of bordering onto the competition side, like, oh, I have more skill in my ability to read bluffs and stuff like that, and like you can read mind game stuff, which is a skill and is related to gambling, but that moves it away from being lucky or being a risk taker, which is what gambling is like in its core about. And it's more about, again, about proving that you're better than your opponent, right? You think I'm so good at reading you that I think that I'm gonna win guarantee or whatever. And depending on the gamble, that like may or may not work. Like you just do like, I don't know, flip a coin or whatever, right? By like an impartial judge, and you like staked literally everything on the coin flip. That is like what Kakegurui is about, right? It's like you've literally no control. There's nothing you can do to affect this outcome, and you're risking literally everything. And like that is like the essence of the gamble, and that's like that's the message that Kakegurui tries to send in it. So which is like, and and then they have an orgasm and the credits roll. Oh, and then they win the flip.
Yeah. In that order.
Oh yeah, because they're not getting off on winning a bet. They're getting off on making a bet,
yeah.
right? Yeah. Sounds insane.
Yeah, I mean, that's the appeal, right? It's just so over the top.
It's so over the top. Yeah, Akagi is, like I said, Akagi is more the other side, and I would say Akagi is like, and like Kaigi and the like are there are gambling animes, but they're not about making these big risks. They have big risks to keep it exciting for the viewer, because like, oh, look what's on stake. But the characters aren't really in it for the
it's big stakes, not necessarily big risks. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, they're trying to win. Like that's the goal, not the risk. And
or
like
in general trying not to lose, but yes.
Sure. And like Akagi,
at least in yeah.
And like the protagonist or whatever just thinks that like they have such a good read on their opponent, or they're just so good at whatever game being played that they like can confidently win because they're just such badasses or whatever. Which again doesn't really play like a sports anime. A sports anime would be more like, you have like a Saki arc where like someone plays against like the literal demon and then loses, and they're like, oh no, how am I possibly ever gonna beat the literal demon? And then they like, I don't know, practice reading hands for like 15 months and then come back and defeat them or something like that. That would be like a sports anime for Saki.
I know.
How you ended up watching? I watched it because I was on Netflix. I can just tell you that, and it was like a very popular show, so it kept being pushed on my timeline or my recommended or whatever.
The real reason Link likes Kakegurui is because it has Techno Boys. We're not gonna kid ourselves.
Is that like the opening people, or I don't know who
Some,
that is.
well, they do music. Yeah, I don't know if it's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Boy, I love how Discord notifications make it so you cannot type on your computer anymore.
Yeah, that's why I turn those off always.
I probably should do as well.
A long time ago. You watched Kakigurui before AMQ? That's hard to believe. I didn't realize you watched anime before AMQ. JK, but really.
JK, but really. It's actually pretty funny, the list of anime that I've like watched because of AMQ. I'm like, yo, this opening is dope, and then I watched it. I'm like, yo, this anime was also dope.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's by far the biggest thing I miss from not doing AMQ anymore, is that I like don't like find anime to watch anymore. Are you heading out? Are we just taking this aside as the discussion should end?
I don't know, dude. You should just play seasonal learning with us every night, and then you'll know what.
Seasonal learning.
Yeah, do a round where we play songs from this current season, and then we stop doing that.
The reason why I hate modern, like recent, like stuff is that they all sound too much the same to me, and I just like was getting like way too frustrated not knowing any anime and not learning them.
It's fair.
In case you passed that, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we might revisit. We'll see where the conversation goes. Although I guess we only have like an hour.
Until spoilers, AMQ.
Ooh.
Should play
Yeah.
ranked.
Yeah, it is quite late.
See if you can
Yes.
get a point.
A point. Yeah, I should play around. I think I like played around like a few months ago with you guys or two, and I'm just like I got like one thing. I was like, yep, okay. It's like my entire notes are useless because it's like I don't remember what any of the notes refer to anymore, and also none
Yeah.
of those things ever come up anyways.
It's true.
because-
The old meta seems to have died. It's kind of sad. Like there's some things that come up and we're just like, remember when this used to come up twice around? And it's been like 6 months since it last played. Just reminiscing on the old days.
Yeah. Yeah, I just like I remember playing with you guys like somewhat recently and just being like, yeah, I know zero of these songs really, until I got like a song that was like on my list and I was like, oh, okay, I got the thing, and like everyone else also gets it because it's like, yeah, and then it's like, well, all right, well, whatever.
I don't know, I
Feels-
think there's some things
Feels
on your
good
list
that
that,
there's I would say there's like some Yubi has like some random anime songs in there too, and like every once in a while like I kind of like play them like, oh yeah, I know the song from AMQ, and then there's like but like there's a few songs in there. It's like, wait, this is anime. This is off of my list. Why is this here? Like there's like the opening theme from Aka, which like kind of surprised me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think that anime was that popular.
Oh,
but-
who cares if it's popular? It's about the music, dude.
I mean, you say that, except for like when you're, and like on rhythm games, they usually only stick on like the popular stuff. But I don't know. Although they like, I guess you know you can't have too much of the same songs, and also like I'm sure a lot of the artists like they have to get the licensing for the songs. So there's like, a lot of artists I'm sure they would have loved to have on there, but they like just can't get.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also have Dirty Sandstorm for reasons I just cannot fathom.
Because it's a meme.
I guess. I mean, it's a meme because it's popular. It wasn't. I don't really understand that meme specifically because it's just, oh look, a popular song. Isn't that hilarious? The song's popular. I feel like most music memes are just that. It's like, yes, I recognize that song. Aka seems well known. I mean, yeah, I definitely wouldn't say it's an unknown anime. It just didn't seem like super popular. It seemed kind of like, you know, it's like medium. Like I don't know. Like wasn't.
I
like,
never really know
disliked.
how you like judge popularity of anime, but
I mean, I guess.
no, I mean I don't know how you judge popularity of anime. Is
Oh,
what
how
I mean.
I judge it?
Yeah.
Mostly just based on how much do I hear random bystanders talk about anime, and what
Like,
are their
on Twitter?
I mean, mostly Twitter, yeah. But like also like in streams and so on and so forth.
Sure.
Like whenever anime like comes up, it's like, what anime are people talking about, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know. I feel
not-
like there's also a bit of there are things that are a lot more popular, like in Japan,
Oh yeah, for sure.
and
And there's
you
also going
wouldn't
to be
really
like
know, you know.
there's also going to obvious biases because it's like, well, the people who just happen to be around might have a certain bias to a
Mm-hmm.
specific kind of anime anyways, right?
Attack on Titan is insanely popular the globe
Yeah.
around. Yeah, that's
That
like.
that anime is super popular. Because the thing is, I haven't done this in many years. Actually, I don't know if I even want to say I've done this really ever, but Otakon, which is in my area-ish, it was I went there in 2010, I believe, and then I was gonna go there again in I'm trying to remember. There was my sister was going and I like happened to be in the area, so I was like, oh, maybe I'll try to get in. So I was like waiting in line to get a ticket, and God, I was waiting in line for literally like I think it was like 7 hours, and I just gave up. And I just stayed at the hotel like over the weekend and didn't go to Otakon. But when you're like in line, you like see the people that they like cosplay as and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And you like see the anime they talk about. Oh, I also went to MagFest 2 years ago.
Nice.
And there was a bunch of anime there. No, I think I actually went to Otakon recently. No, I did go. I went to Otakon. I think last year actually. Yeah. Some of my friends convinced me because they moved to DC, and so I went. Anyways, the point is,
Is this the Mahjong gang?
them and some others.
Gotcha.
But there is yeah, there is you like a lot of people cosplay, and there's a lot of cosplay of specific anime, and people usually cosplay like as the anime that they like, and they like show anime and the people that like talks about anime, and like you get a very clear picture of like the kinds of things that people are talking about and things that people like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But I haven't really done this in a long time. I haven't really been watching anime or doing anything in like a year and a half, I feel like. I don't know. Pretty much since I did AMQ. But I don't know. I feel like at this point I'm just like, I don't know. I can just like look at anime and just be like, this anime looks like it's going to be popular. Just like based on like the content and like what genre it is and character design or whatever. It's like, yeah, this is like an anime that people would like, or this is the kind of anime would be popular. You have the classic like, is it like SAO metric? Which is usually a pretty safe metric, even though people apparently don't like SAO anymore.
Yeah.
They all like
People
things
like
that
to
are
hate
like SAO.
Well, I don't know. It's kind of like we've come to the point where people like most of like the, people who watch a lot of anime or whatever are just like straight sick of isekai at this point.
Yeah,
And they're
you,
pretty
like,
vocal
see a
about
lot of
it.
the same. Yeah.
But it's still popular because it's isekai.
Yeah, I mean, just because people who watch a lot of anime doesn't mean they're the people who actually like are most people who are watching anime, right?
Right.
I don't know. I've generally never really been a huge fan of that genre.
It's not even really a genre. That's the saddest part. I mean, it's
Yeah,
become a genre, but like the actual like
Become a
term
genre.
as a
Yeah, but the term is like
it's- yeah.
way beyond what it originally kind of inspired.
Yeah.
Alice in Wonderland.
I mean,
But there's like,
yeah, there's plenty of
Yeah.
old anime that are like, even by today's standards, you would easily consider them an isekai.
but they're like nothing like what modern isekai is like.
Mhm. like, you know, Inuyasha or like
Mhm.
Escaflowne or even like hacking dot hack sign, which is like
Yeah, I was say like dot hack
literally like, you know,
is like kind of a major inspiration for like SAO,
yeah,
I would
and
assume.
people
But
generally
like,
hate dot hack sign. They think it's trash, and I mean, it hasn't aged well, so that doesn't help its
is
case at
not
all.
aged well. And there's other problems with dot hack. Like it doesn't end. It like basically is just like cliffhanger. Go play the video games, right?
Well,
But it's
it
also
ends. It's just
come on, man. It doesn't end.
no,
It
no, no,
literally,
no, no.
it, like
I
a
agree with you
little.
on one part. I agree with you on one part that it is saying go play the video game, but it's happening in tandem with the video game, so it still ends. It's just you don't know why it ended.
I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that. I mean, I've generally preferred like the older style anime, and like every once in a while I see anime that come out that are kind of like it, like I mean, like Aka or Rakugo and stuff like that. But
Rakugo
things that
is
like
amazing, dude.
this animes are generally really slow paced,
Mhm.
and like people like it's like I don't have the time for that shit. You know, they just want to like watch cute girl do cute things or something. Like I don't want to like see people mope around in a dark room for an hour and then like come out feeling like they're still sad or whatever, right? Like that's not there's nothing really to gain from watching that. I think that most people.
Cautious Hero is actually good, though. It really was. But that's because the anime like actually had a plot, and it wasn't just like do cool isekai things with your isekai harem.
Yeah, I don't know. The real problem I have with isekai isn't even isekai. The real problem of isekai is that it's just shonen. It's just a shonen in disguise. They kind of
Well,
have
depends, but
they frequently I don't know, they frequently have the same kind of like hero arc story where you have like, you know, an essential nobody or someone who's different or special in some way.
I don't know. They
And
usually kind of just
they
start super
like
overpowered nowadays and stay that way, and no one
yeah,
can
but
like contend
that's
with
them
them.
being different or special, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there are definitely like anime that have like kind of like broken from the normal trope, but in some ways it's like now that you have anime like say like One Punch Man, every anime wants to be like One Punch Man, right? So there's like, I mean, I don't know, there's just a lot of like a lot of isekai I watch is a little too much just like heroes arc story stuff, which is like, you know, I don't know, just kind of not super interesting. Not because I think it's like boring or bad. It's just like I've seen too much of that stuff personally. Like that's
Mhm.
stuff I watched like when I was like like a kid going through like middle school, high school, and like I could see why people will like that stuff. I'm not saying that like you should feel bad because you like those kind of anime. It's just like I've seen enough of that. Like I don't need to watch more of this stuff. A lot of plot be
It's
improve your movement
it's
character.
true. It's actually true.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely been plenty of like, you know, it's gotten to the point now where there's like definitely like interesting twists on it, and there's like, you know, parodies and so on and so forth that are enjoyable. But
Parodies of parodies.
yeah, well, yeah.
I mean, there's definitely a struggle, I think, in just content creation, just in general, to make something that's like different,
Well, the other thing
right?
is like anime is also like lagged behind like what's actually kind of like I guess on people's minds, at least like in Japan or whatever, because it's all like adaptations of stuff that's like a few years old, you know? And so
Yeah, like
like
light
people
novels
are
and stuff.
writing stuff in reaction to the anime that like that parodies this stuff is like way more popular or whatever, because you know the anime is probably more popular. And
I mean, to be fair, the same can be said for a lot of like American TV as
yeah.
well. I mean, I think like some like the most popular shows ever written were like Game of Thrones, and that's based off of a book,
Mhm.
right?
Yep. Well, the thing, Princess Connect is like, I mean, the main character doesn't like exist in the source material, right? Like the player is the main character, so he's supposed to be kind of like a voiceless, you know, know
Right.
nothing or whatever. But
The classic blank slate.
yeah, there's a croc here. What the heck?
Yeah, I mean that kind of goes into some other discussions about, you know, video game protagonists in general, of like, you know, what does it mean to be a protagonist in a video game, right?
Mhm.
Like, are they a character who the player assumes control of, or are they like an avatar for the players in the game, right? So it's
Mhm.
very different mentality on that kind of specific role taking. People seem to have a real big problem when you change that mentality across a series, like Metroid, where Samus is, you know, essentially an avatar for like most of the games, because, you know, she has no real like, and there's stuff in the manga, but the manga, the player isn't the character in the manga, so it can't be that
Mhm.
way. But like in the games, it's like you don't have the character is controlling, you know, controlling Samus, or sorry, the player is controlling this character Samus, and it's just you know, the player is the one who's exploring this world, right? Not Samus. Which is why people had such a big problem with like giving Samus a personality, because they're like, this doesn't line up with how I viewed me to be, who I was playing, right?
Mhm. Well,
Yeah.
and it's once that's the case, it's literally impossible because you can't make a character that matches literally everyone's perception of themselves. You know, it's like,
Yeah, pretty much. It's
and it's.
I think no matter what you do, you like you kind of have to stay your line when you
Mhm.
when you like develop games. Like you just have to stay like either it's one way or the other. You really can't switch, or you're gonna like make people mad. But you control Metroid. No, Metroid can't crawl.
I mean, to be honest, personally, tend to prefer when like the main character does like have an actual character and personality or
I
whatever.
do agree. I do agree, which is why I didn't really have like a problem with like Fusion
Yeah,
with
I
like
agree.
Samus kind of like having, but she still had very little character in that game. But like the fact that she like showed anything and like was clear that she's like, oh, I want to like defy orders, or I don't agree with the orders I'm being given, which is like a pretty major departure from like the action she took in the, you know, previous games. But I still appreciated like kind of giving her some depth. Like in general, I
Mhm.
preferred, you know, more interesting characters versus just blank slates. But obviously, a lot of people were not a fan of that, and that is just, you know, how marketing works, I guess.
Yeah.
You never understood identifying with the player character.
I feel like this is sarcasm, but I can't tell.
I know it's weird because like it is like a careful thing you want to do, because you don't want the, because even though you're controlling a character who has like their own personality or whatever, there's a bit of like the player is going to want to like assume some of those kind of characteristics when they play, because like
Mhm.
if they think they're playing this character who's supposed to be this like badass who just doesn't give a shit about other people's feelings, that when you like come across like a couple who's like looking for their child, you're really like, I don't care, I need to complete the mission or whatever, right? Like you might like take those kind of actions. um but and like maybe as a developer that's like what you want, but like there's times when you have to be like really careful, because like you can develop a character that is like really morally like dark, and then you just want to like they ask the player to control a character to do something like real evil, and then you're just like, I don't want to do this,
Mhm.
right? And it's like you don't, even though it's like not your personality, you're still like taking the action, so it's like, yeah, like makes you really uncomfortable.
Hmm. Oh, jeez, it's cold. Oh. Okay, I guess I'm not going that way. It's gonna start raining. That'd be awkward. It's raining. God dang it.
But it's always raining when it's least convenient.
No, it always rains when you leave a coal area for like 2 seconds. I don't know why they thought that that was like a necessary like transition or whatever, but
Huh.
have you not noticed that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it literally just always rains when you leave a cold area for like a brief period of time.
Huh.
Yeah. Tis a thing. How did you miss that? I don't know. How did you guys miss this? I guess you didn't spend as much time running in and out of cold areas as I have. Just fair, because you really shouldn't, but...
I don't know. The game rains a lot. There aren't that many cold
Yeah,
areas.
that's true. Well, watch. I'm gonna make it rain right now. I guess I wasn't there for long enough. Peaced out in due time. Somehow I like haven't been to this like field yet. In Hateno. There's probably a lot of like lizards here that I don't need anymore. This is like where the fire is, isn't it? In that little mountain thing?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, there's crickets, that's what it is.
Collect 10 of them.
Oh. That's what's here, huh? I don't think I've ever been to this one. I didn't know it was here.
Huh. That's good to know, I guess.
I mean, there's one like by every town. I just didn't actually know where the Hateno one was. Yeah, I'm sure if you warp it just breaks it, but...
So do those signs exist before you beat the Fang and Boatman?
That's a good question. I would assume... they are... If I had to guess, I'd say they are, but I could absolutely see it if they weren't. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea how in the world I covered so much ground today and yet found a grand total of 1 Korok. Ridiculous. I haven't been back here in a while. guess I just picked some bad places to explore. I haven't found any bosses today either. Today was a bad day, apparently. Oh well. Just picked a bad place to go to, I guess. Oh, I got a saving. That's a good sign, right? Is there a boss out here? Is this a Talus? Is that a Talus? Oh! Speak of the devil, dude. Heck. Oh wow. That thing went flying. I have no idea what happened to it. There it is. Wow, weak sauce. Oh, I guess 2 rupees. Rubies. Oh, I need to stamp that. This one. Oh, there's Fang and Bone. Dragon Bone? What is it called? It's Fang and Bone, right? Yo, what's up, goat? Thanks for the sub.
Oh yeah, subs exist. I should probably fix that.
You pay more monthly to use Girlish Think than you do to watch anime. Well, I'm sure you probably watch more anime than you use Girlish Think, so I'm not sure this is the best trade here, but... Girlish Think is a pretty amazing emote. Gab Shock is a pretty amazing emote. I pretty much only have amazing emotes, except for my highest tier one. One of these days, I'll come up with something that just strikes gold, and I will have to have it, and Gunner-chan will be no more. I don't know, we always go on how Gunner-chan is like the greatest Dio character or whatever, but... if I'm being like honest with the world and honest with myself, I like probably I don't know, at least 25% of the characters more than her. Not bad, obviously, but yeah, I mean the emote has some history, and that is definitely why it exists, but I don't know, it's like more of a meme than actually a good emote, you know? Like, a good emote has, like, an actual, like, you know, emotion that it expresses, as the term implies, and there will be situations in the conversation where using it actually, like, adds to your message, right? I don't think Gunnar Chan really has that. I don't know.
I mean, there definitely are emotes that people just use like that, just totally don't actually act as a like emotional punctuation or whatever. They're just
また
random anime girl or whatever. But I do agree, yeah. Usually the way people use emotes is to add some context or inflection or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I mean, there are people who have like, I have this emote because this emote represents like a thing or some represents this game or whatever. And so like, how can you use this emote in any context? Like, I'll give an example. Like, Barbara's King has an emote that's just a slice of bread with his face on it. Ish. I don't know.
Ish.
But there's no meaning. It doesn't have any kind of meaning. It has no
just
context.
goofy.
There's no way you can like actually like add any kind of inflection to a sentence by adding that emote to it. But yeah, it's like a random emote that I guess has memes or something. How is anyone supposed to use that emote? It's not actually possible to use that emote.
That's the point, dude. The emote itself is a paradox, which is why it's good. It's
I don't know
deep.
if I say it's good.
It's deep. It's
Just don't-
it's basically just Testrunner's like meta commentary on emotes as a whole. He planned this all along. It was very conversation.
We definitely had this specific discussion, and this was definitely my intent. That's actually like frustratingly like one of my best emotes in the sense of like being able to add meaning to a sentence, and is by far the most lazy one made.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it does have the plus that it doesn't like look like it's crappy like squished, because it's, you know, actually like nice and crisp even at like small resolutions, because there's not much to it or whatever, but
It's a very simple geometric
yeah, exactly.
image.
Yeah. There's a dragon up there. I'm definitely not catching up to you.
Just waiting for Escher to send me a cease and desist or whatever.
I don't
I
know if
trademarked this shape. Thank you very much.
I mean, there's definitely also like something to some emotes that like you wouldn't necessarily like inherently like just get what it means or whatever, but like whenever like a certain person uses a certain emote enough in a certain context, like you just associate that meaning with that emote, you know? It's definitely happened to me before. So, I mean, any emote can shine, I guess. You just have to put in the effort.
There's also like, if you're a relatively large streamer, you have so many emo slots that you just start like filling them with random shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. You start having just like random things.
Yeah. Cursed emotes, dude.
What was Pie Trash before? It didn't used to be a mime. What? Because he's had a Pie Trash emote for a long time.
Doesn't it like change?
I guess he must. I didn't know that was like a thing he did. Huh. One of these days he'll make his Pie Anime and Pie Trash the same emote.
As they say, anime is trash, and so am I.
Well, you know what his anime emote is.
I don't.
It's not even anime. It's like some, yeah, it's some kids show that
Oh
I've
my
literally
God.
never heard of, and apparently it's like
I
horrible as
see.
well.
I see this.
Yeah.
Should have just made it something from like the Avatar or whatever. Trigger just as many people. Alright, my goal right now is to summon Dinral. There he is! I did it! I'm a beast! Genius in my craft.
That is a pretty bad emote, I agree.
What is it? Is that a Wailord?
You have to get a zoom up picture because the emote on its own is completely unintelligible. It looks like a Wailord, it's on fire, I think it's a graph on the bottom, and it says stonks on the top. There's like text stonks on it, which is completely illegible unless you like zoom in. Pie is a bad idea in general.
Wow.
Wow. Those are some shout call outs.
Them's fighting words.
Them's fighting words.
I don't know who we're fighting, but
The words have been fought.
that's bad. That's also bad. Ah, dang it, dude. Did I just get a normal scale? I think I might have. If I got a claw, this might be acceptable. Actually, no, it's really not. I need
The horns.
not that. Yeah. I need horn and a mouth.
Thing.
Yes. Yeah, it sucks.
Surprise, that's you. Are you gonna pick it up?
I guess.
You could cook it into like a 10-minute thing.
That's not what the scales aren't even that good, dude.
Oh, they're at 5 minutes?
I don't think they're even that good. I think they add like 2 minutes or something.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Hmm. 15 hours? That seems about right.
Yeah.
I mean, like when people do a like, 602, it's like more than half of the race is SMG2. The other half of the race is SMG1.
Everything else like washes out in the rounding error.
Yeah. I think like 10% of the run is like the other game, so it's just like take nothing.
When is the 1,000,002? When you add in like 999 moons or whatever?
So I'm trying to remember there actually is like I'm trying to remember. I remember seeing something about this actually kind of recently. Uh, is it alright time for like a like mostly first playthrough ish, or like a not speedrun playthrough? Sorry, then like, yeah, like if you weren't like actually learning strats and practicing levels, it's kind of what I would expect. SMG2 is like a really, really long game, like casually. It's by far like, yeah,
I don't know. I think Odyssey's longer, but
Odyssey's definitely longer.
last time I played Odyssey, it took me almost exactly 24 hours total.
Yeah.
So
The thing is, Odyssey becomes way faster your second playthrough when Galaxy 2 does not.
I
Because
guess.
because Galaxy 2 is like a lot of it's like finding out where like all the boons and stuff are, and like SMG 2, you like, I don't know, you just like play through the levels.
Mhm.
Sunshine's kind of the same thing except for the blue coins. Like if you ignore blue coins, it's like your subsequent playthrough is not gonna be like all that much faster in your first play.
Mhm.
Except for the fact that you're just like better at the game, so you're gonna make like fewer mistakes.
In theory.
I think in practice too. It won't feel like it, but I don't think you're gonna make the same mistakes.
General didn't show up this time, so I don't. You know, I guess this isn't like a guarantee or anything, but. Yeah, I wish blue coins weren't episode dependent, absolutely. That would make them, way better. I mean, like, most of them are fine, but... there's some ones that are, like, just arbitrarily locked to one episode or another, and it just sucks. Yeah, well. These things happen. Oh, that actually killed me. Wow.
私が守る
I wasn't expecting it to kill me. I was just like, ah, we'll take the fall, it'll be funny. Sometimes you just get knocked off of a cliff by a dead moblin, and yeah, I don't know, these things happen. Where am I? What am I doing here? Well, nothing, because this dragon's not going to show up, so let's go here instead. See if this dragon shows up for me. While I have a little bit of time. I'm gonna load the next area while I have a little bit of time, apparently.
There's a lot of things at Sunshines that were like pretty inconvenient in general. Like the fact that you get 100 coin star kicks you out of the level.
Hmm.
Which is the only Mario game that's like that.
Yeah, it was kind of weird that they did that, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. There was a bunch of things that were kind of tedious, like replaying secrets to get another star.
Mm-hmm. Wait, that's not the kind I was looking for. Did
They
I?
do, but you couldn't do a purple coin star while doing another star, right? There were always like a special stage. Yeah,
Mhm.
because it's like Sunshine where you can't do two stars at the same time, so you never feel like you're wasting your time working on one star while working on another star when you can only complete one. But Sunshine, the rule that gets broken is the 100 coins shine. The 100 coins shine is the only thing that breaks that rule. Because you can work on it while doing any other shine, but you can still only do one shine.
Is this guy gonna spit this up onto the bridge? He always does. Oh, he missed though. Good job, idiot. Ow! What just happened? Oh, that was one of his, like, things. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Come up and hit me. How do I even get back up from this?
You drown.
That would work. I could also save and reset. I didn't drop anything when I got hit, did I? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Really? Now? Alright, guys. Make this work somehow. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, the bull scared it away. Screw me. That was really unlucky. I'm not really sure I want to do some crazy cliff climbing again, but I guess that's what's happening. That's all of them that I will ever need. Alright, let's get my equipment back in working order here, and then I guess we'll call it night. Can't believe I only found one Korok.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I guess we had a little too much discussion and scared all the Koroks away.
Koroks don't like gambling.
Koroks don't like gambling.
Maybe Koroks don't like anime. Blasphemous. I suppose if they liked anime, they wouldn't be hiding under rocks. They'd be hiding in their basement watching the television, so... You heard it here first. Koroks are Ganon. Anyway. Thanks for watching. Have a good night. See ya.